I'm Kyle Thompson, 30, male, a marketing analyst in Chicago, and this is the dumbest mess I've ever stepped into. I dated Carly Evans, 28, for 2 years, living together in my Wicker Park apartment for 6 months. On paper, she was a catch, gorgeous, with a magnetic personality that lit up rooms, making a boring Tuesday night in Logan Square feel like a movie scene. I thought I'd hit the jackpot. The first months were smooth. She was funny, affectionate, whipped up pancakes on Sundays, dragged me to bars like the Violet Hour, bragged about me to friends at rooftop parties. I remember thinking, okay, this could be long-term. But a shadow hung around. Fred Larson, 27, her ex. I didn't miss the red flags, I just thought I could outclass them by ignoring them. Big mistake. Carly fed me the classic lines early. Fred and I go way back. We've got too much history to cut him out. He's like family now. If you've been here, you know what that means. For those who haven't, let me translate. My ex lingers like a bad smell, and I'm too weak to shut it down. I'm not the jealous type, hate those guys sweating bullets at group dinners because some coworker liked her Instagram post. When Carly got late-night texts from Fred or hopped on quick calls, I brushed it off. She'd roll her eyes, relax. He's just checking in. Checking in turned into always around. Guys don't orbit like that unless they're testing doors to see which one's unlocked. I should have deadbolted the social door right there. But for a while, I relaxed, convincing myself not to overthink it. Here's the thing about letting small stuff slide, it piles up. Fred had a knack for just showing up. We'd be at a dive bar in Bucktown with friends, and boom, there's Fred. Oh, I didn't know you guys came here, he'd say, like it's normal for an ex to pop up every other weekend at the same spot. Then came group hangouts, game nights in Logan Square, brewery crawls in West Loop. It was like Fred had VIP access to Carly's calendar. He'd slide into the seat next to her, laugh at her jokes like she was a stand-up comic, and toss out, "Remember when we used to," comments, loud enough for me to catch. It wasn't subtle, it was marking territory. Guys don't say, "I remember when," for nostalgia, they say it to remind you they were there first, like he's senior staff and I'm the intern. Carly shrugged it off every time, "That's just Fred." Her laugh wasn't clueless, it was a reset button. I'd raise the issue, she'd laugh, and the topic got tossed like a penalty flag. No foul, play on. That's how small stuff becomes normal. I'm watching this guy orbit her like a lost planet, trying to get pulled back into her gravity, and she's letting it happen. I let it slide because I thought Carly was worth it, that she'd eventually draw the line. I told myself I didn't need to waste energy on a washed-up ex. That was mistake number 1. Fred wasn't just hanging around, he was testing boundaries, and Carly was either too blind or too selfish to care. Then came the night the mask slipped. We were in the living room, a normal weeknight, chilling on my thrift store couch, when Carly looked at me, dead serious, and said, "Fred will be here whenever I say so, and you'll just have to live with it. We have long history." Pause right there. Guys, imagine your girlfriend saying, straight-faced, that her ex can chill in your living room, feet up on your IKEA coffee table, because she says so. That's not a red flag, it's the parade float, marching band, and fireworks all at once. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because the audacity was insane. "No," I said flat out. "Not happening. He doesn't come in my house. You want to see him? Fine. Coffee shop, park, bus stop, wherever. But not here." She stared like I'd kicked her dog. "You're being ridiculous, Kyle. Fred's part of my life. If you can't accept that, maybe you're not cut out for a serious relationship." I smirked. Serious relationship? Carly, you're trying to turn my apartment into a timeshare. That's not serious, that's stupid. Her arms crossed. Wow, you're really acting threatened by a guy I dated years ago? That's pathetic. Threatened? I laughed. No, see, I'm not threatened. I just don't let leftovers eat at my table. She scoffed, voice rising. You're so controlling. You want to decide who I can and can't see. Wrong again. You can see whoever you want, just not from my couch while they're holding my remote. Her face twisted. You're twisting this to make me the bad guy. Like I did something wrong. Did something wrong? I leaned in. You're literally inviting your ex into my home and acting like I'm the problem for noticing. That's not a relationship, Carly. That's a circus, and Fred's your clown. Her eyes narrowed into slits. God, you're such a jerk. You sound paranoid. Paranoid? I tilted my head. Nah, paranoid is tinfoil on windows. This is me setting boundaries, which you wouldn't know if they smacked you in the face. She threw her hands up. God, you're acting like some landlord instead of my boyfriend. I smirked. Funny, because you're acting like a tenant who stopped paying rent but still wants perks. That shut her up, lips pressed into a thin line. She stormed to the bedroom, slammed the door like a teenager grounded from Wi-Fi. I sat on the couch, shaking my head. I thought I'd shut it down, that she'd cool off and see I wasn't budging. But I underestimated how messy Carly was. That wasn't the end, just round one. Fred was only getting started. Saturday morning, the kind you plan to savor with nothing but peace. I'm back from the gym in Lincoln Park, drenched, headphones dangling, thinking shower, maybe some gaming on my PlayStation. I open the door, and my stomach twists. Fred's on my couch, feet on my coffee table, remote in one hand, shaker bottle in the other, filled with my $40 Whole Foods protein powder he scooped. He grins like I'm the guest in my own place. "Hey, man," he says, casual. "Carly said I could hang out." My brain does a record scratch. Imagine walking into your apartment, your name on the lease, your money paying for everything, and finding the one guy you banned acting like he owns it. I glance at the kitchen, Carly's making coffee, casual as a sunny Saturday, not even pretending guilt. What the hell is he doing here? I ask, loud enough to cut through their little fantasy. Carly barely looks up. "Relax. We're just catching up." "In my apartment, with my stuff?" Fred leans back, smirk glued on. "Don't be so uptight, dude. You're acting like you own the place." That line almost broke me. Almost. "I do own the place," I shot back. "My name's on the lease. My furniture, my bills, that protein shake you're drinking, I bought it. You're an unwelcome visitor." Fred's smirk grows, like he thinks he's clever. "Funny, Carly told me I was family. You're the visitor now." It wasn't about the protein or couch, it was disrespect. That line was a direct shot, and Carly stood there, letting him fire, not defending me, not shutting him down. Nothing. I stared at Fred, voice flat. "Get out." He stood slow, like slow motion made him tough, set the shaker down, smirk never fading. "All right, chill. I'll go. But you can't keep me away from her." He walked out, trying for the last word. The second the door shut, I turned to Carly. "What the hell was that?" She crossed her arms. "That was you overreacting. He's my friend, and you embarrassed me." "No, that was you disrespecting me," I said. "I told you he wasn't welcome. I was crystal clear. You brought him in. That's choosing him over me." "You're being ridiculous," she snapped, rolling her eyes like I was losing it. I realized this wasn't about Fred being a harmless friend. It was Carly refusing to respect me. She wasn't oblivious or caught in the middle, she was choosing sides, and it wasn't mine. That night, she grabbed a blanket, slept on the couch, facing away, like she was proving a point. The irony hit hard. Fred had been there that morning, and now she was staking out his spot, like it belonged to his ghost. The week that followed was pure tension. Carly gave me the silent treatment, waiting for me to apologize. Doors closed harder than normal. Cabinets slammed louder than necessary. Every move screamed, "You're the bad guy." I wasn't apologizing. I wasn't budging. She wanted me to cave, to say, "Fine, let Fred hang around." Not happening. I kept busy, stayed late at my Loop office, crunching ad campaign data, hit the gym harder at Planet Fitness, ran errands in Lincoln Park longer than needed. Not avoiding her, just not rewarding her nonsense with my time. Coming home felt like walking into a Cold War. It was easier to cut hours listening to her passive-aggressive silence. But while I stayed steady, the storm was building. Fred wasn't the type to back off, his smirk, comments, the way he looked at me like he'd already won. He wasn't satisfied just being around. Carly had cracked the door, and he wanted to kick it wide open. It hit me, this wasn't the last time I'd find Fred where he didn't belong. This was just the start. A couple days later, I come home from work. Long day, traffic on the Kennedy Expressway sucked, all I wanted was to kick off my boots and relax. I open the apartment door, and something's off. Shoes by the door, not mine, not Carly's. Big, ugly sneakers, like thrift store rejects. Then I see a jacket on the coat rack, not mine. My stomach tightens. I walk in, and there's Fred, on my couch like he signed the lease, feet on my coffee table, remote in hand, flipping through channels like he's hunting for a soap opera rerun. I stop in the doorway. Unbelievable. I throw you out once, and you're back like a stray dog. Get the hell out before I call the cops. He looks up, calm, smirk plastered on like it's permanent. Carly said I could crash here for a bit. Her mom's place in Evanston is crowded. You've got plenty of room. She even gave me a spare key, man. Said it'd be easier this way. Carly's in the kitchen, she opened the door, no key used. She'd unlocked the deadbolt herself. My head starts pounding. Not only is Fred in my apartment, acting like he owns it, but Carly, my girlfriend, handed this clown a spare key to my home without telling me. She what? I snap. Carly steps out of the bedroom, arms crossed, casual as can be. Relax. It's temporary. He just needs a place until he gets on his feet. I couldn't believe it. No. Absolutely not. He doesn't live here. He doesn't stay here. This is my home, and I never agreed to this. Fred leans back, smug as hell. Look, man, you can fight it all you want, but she invited me. You kick me out, you're kicking her out, too. I clenched my fist so hard my knuckles cracked. I wasn't mad in a yelling way anymore, stone cold. Good. Both of you can leave. The room went quiet, heavy, fridge humming loud. That wasn't a threat, it was policy. No one's above it. Carly's jaw dropped like I'd committed a crime against humanity. Then she exploded. You're unbelievable. He has nowhere else to go. You're really this selfish? This isn't selfishness, I shot back. This is basic respect. You don't give out a key to my apartment behind my back. That's not just disrespect, that's betrayal. Fred stood slow, puffing his chest like we were about to square up. Careful how you talk to her. She deserves better than some control freak threatened by a little history. I stepped right up, inches away, voice low. You need to leave right now, or I call the cops. We locked eyes, his jaw tightened, like he might swing. He muttered something, grabbed his jacket, stormed out. Carly stayed, only to pack a bag. She threw clothes in like she was auditioning for a reality TV tantrum, slammed drawers, made every move loud and dramatic. Then she stormed out, slamming the door so hard the frame shook. For the first time in weeks, the apartment was quiet. I thought that was it, maybe she'd cool off at her mom's, realize she'd crossed a line, and this nonsense would end. Nope. 2 days later, at work, my phone buzzes, ring camera, motion at the door. I pull up the feed. Guess who? Fred, fumbling with a cheap key copy. It didn't work, only a knob copy Carly made, useless with my deadbolt locked. He tried for a minute, pounded the door, yelled Carly's name, then stomped off, frustrated. I got home and called a locksmith. By night, every lock was changed, no second chances for Fred breaking in. Sunday night, Carly shows up, tries her key, doesn't work. She pounds until I open. What did you do? She demands. I changed the locks, I said flatly. Fred doesn't live here, and now neither do you. You don't give out keys behind my back. Her eyes went wide with fury. You had no right. I had every right. My name's on the lease. My bills, my furniture, my home. You crossed the line. She shook with anger. If you don't let him back, I'm done. I stared for a long moment, then stepped aside. Then you're done. She gasped like I'd stabbed her. You're really choosing this over me? No, I said, voice cold. I'm choosing peace over chaos, boundaries over disrespect, sanity over insanity. Her face went pale, then red. She snatched her bag, stomped down the hall, slammed the door so hard it rattled. I leaned against the counter, finally breathing. It hit me, this wasn't just about Fred. Carly showed who she was, someone who'd hand my key to another man and act like I was the problem for not bowing to her rules. I wasn't broken up, not devastated, wondering how to win her back. I was pissed, sure, but more than that, relieved. For the first time in months, I knew where I stood. She picked Fred, I picked myself. Breakups should end there, you walk away, block each other, move on. Not Fred. He was built to linger, like a bad smell you can't air out. 2 nights later, I'm on the couch, enjoying rare silence, when my phone buzzes, unknown number. You didn't win this. You made a huge mistake. I roll my eyes, delete, move on. 10 minutes later, another text, new number, she'll always choose me over you. Blocked. That set the pattern. Over a week, I blocked 6 numbers, all with the same fake tough guy energy. The guy was downloading burner apps just to keep it going, pathetic, like watching someone trip over their own shoelaces trying to look intimidating. Then came the knocks, 2 or 3 a.m., fists hammering my door like he was delivering a pizza from hell. I'd sit up, knowing it was him. By the time I checked the ring feed, I'd catch his back, same hoodie, same stomping stride. He wasn't trying to break in, just wanted me awake, annoyed. A few days later, a new trick, I woke to a folded note under my door. You can't erase history. No signature, but Fred's attempt at being deep red like a stalker's fortune cookie. It didn't stop. Next night, I head to work, and there he is in the parking lot, leaning on a lamp post near my car, pretending to be on his phone. I didn't acknowledge him, walked past, got in my Honda, drove off. But the dashcam caught him in the windshield reflection, eyes locked on me like I owed him rent. He left a voicemail once, random number, robotic voice distortion, like he thought he was in a crime thriller. You think you can win, but you already lost. It'd be scary if it wasn't so laughably dramatic. I saved it, because by then I was collecting everything, timestamps, screenshots, audio, ring clips, all in a desktop folder. Not to win a fight, but to avoid one I couldn't. Every text, voicemail, knock, stacking receipts like I was building a legal case. I wasn't rattled or scared to leave my apartment. I was annoyed. Fred was a mosquito, creepy, not dangerous. He wanted me to lash out, lose my cool. I wasn't giving him that. I stayed calm, steady, patient. Then came Friday night. Long day at work, traffic on I-90 a nightmare, I just wanted to crash. I turned the corner to my apartment, and there it is, spray paint, ugly red letters across my door, game over. A neighbor, old guy named Tom, pokes his head out, sees the door, shakes his head. Saw a guy in a hoodie messing around last night, he says. I emailed the property manager the ring clip before calling the cops. Paper trails talk louder than outrage. My stomach clenched for half a second, then I smirked. The camera had him. I pulled up the feed on my phone, standing in the hallway, and there was Fred, hood up, spray can in hand, looking right into the lens like he wanted to be caught. He shook the can, sprayed my door, stepped back to admire his work, and walked off. Dumbest move he could have made. He'd been playing in the shadows, trying to rattle me with petty stunts. But that act turned it into solid, undeniable evidence. I did what he didn't expect, called the cops. I filed a report, handed over texts, voicemails, the note, footage, everything. The officer didn't brush it off, took it seriously, wrote it down, asked questions, said they'd follow up. For the first time, it wasn't just me versus Fred's nonsense, it was on record. I hung up, not angry, not stressed, calm. Fred thought he was in control, making me lose sleep. But he'd handed me the rope to hang him with. It didn't take long for it to tighten. Within a week, the officer called, they'd reviewed the texts, voicemails, ring footage, even Fred's creepy note. More than enough. They were moving forward. Just to let you know, sir, we'll be serving him papers for harassment, trespassing, and criminal mischief. If he contacts you again, call us immediately, the officer said. I thanked him, hung up, felt relief, not just because Fred was getting what he deserved, but because it wasn't just me against him anymore. The law was on my side, and Fred was fumbling like an idiot. Next day, leaving for work, I saw a police cruiser idling near the complex entrance. 2 officers were talking to someone in the lot. Yep, Fred, hoodie half-zipped, arms flailing, trying to argue his way out of reality. I couldn't hear it all, but I caught enough. She invited me. She said I could be there. He's just jealous. The officers weren't buying it. One pointed at a clipboard, the other gestured toward my building. I didn't stick around, but I caught Fred's face as I walked to my car, pure hatred, like I'd ruined his master plan. I gave a little smirk, kept walking. By night, he was gone, served, ordered to stay away from me, my apartment, my loop office. Then came Carly's calls. The first was screaming, you didn't have to go that far. You ruined his life. No, I said, calm. He ruined his own life. I just hit record. You could have talked to me first, she snapped. Talk to you? You gave him a key to my apartment. Conversation ended there. She sobbed, shouted, accused, tried to guilt-trip me. I hung up, blocked her, but Carly wasn't done. Over the next week, she tried everything, showed up once, pounding my door until Tom threatened to call the cops. Sent long emails about how I never understood her bond with Fred, spinning it like I broke her trust. The desperation was almost funny, almost. The real entertainment was her world shrinking. Word travels fast in friend groups, and Carly's drama with Fred predated me. People were tired. Now, with Fred facing police reports, most pulled the plug. A friend, Mike, who I still grab beers with, filled me in. We warned her years ago Fred was bad news. She wouldn't listen. Now she's stuck defending him while everyone moves on. Group chats went silent for her. Invites to rooftop bars and trivia nights dried up. People don't love being extras in someone's chaos trilogy. Her family wasn't better. Her mom told her, you can't keep blaming everyone else. Fred's toxic, dragging you down. But Carly doubled down, telling them they didn't understand, running interference for Fred like his PR manager. Meanwhile, I was living like a king in my own space. No stomping, no slammed cabinets, no ultimatums, just me, my couch, the sweet sound of nothing. But Fred couldn't stay quiet. Even after being served, he drove past my building slow, like I wouldn't notice his beat-up Chevy circling the block. One night, he called from a blocked number, another garbled voicemail, you'll regret messing with me. I sent it to the officer. Keep it coming, I said. He's making your job easier. A week later, Fred was arrested, criminal mischief for the spray paint, harassment for texts and voicemails, trespassing for the key Carly gave him. Nothing earth-shattering, but enough for probation, a record, and a restraining order keeping him 200 feet from me and my building. I cracked open a fridge, grabbed a Coke, toasted myself, peace. Carly lost her mind, called from a new number, crying, screaming, calling me every name she could think of. You destroyed us. You destroyed him. You never loved me. I let her rant until she ran out of steam. No, Carly, I said. I loved myself enough not to let you and your sidekick run my life into the ground. Click. Last time I gave her oxygen. Over weeks, I watched from afar as their circus folded. Carly's friends kept their distance, her family stopped covering. Fred was too busy with probation and mandatory check-ins to harass me. I'd walk into my apartment, lock the door, and smile, no smirk on the couch, no extra shoes, no drama in the kitchen, just quiet. Peace wasn't just the absence of noise, it was the absence of people who thrived on it. Once Fred and Carly were gone, that peace became addictive. I'd wake up, brew coffee in silence, sit on my couch, feel a calm I hadn't realized I'd missed. No slamming doors, no midnight texts, no fake ultimatums, just quiet. But Carly never disappears clean. Sunday night, a knock on my door. Ring feed shows her, eyes red, holding takeout from Lou Malnati's, my favorite, playing the nostalgia card. I opened the door just enough. "Can we talk?" she whispered, voice cracking like she'd rehearsed it. I shook my head. "No." She blinked, stunned. "No? Just like that?" "There's nothing left to say," I told her. "You picked Fred. You defended him. You handed him my key. You don't come back from that." Her lip trembled, eyes watering like she was auditioning for an Oscar. "I made a mistake. I didn't want to lose him as a friend." I laughed. "You didn't lose him as a friend, Carly. You lost me as a partner, and you don't see the difference." Her face twisted, searching for words but finding none. After a pause, she shoved the takeout bag into my hands, like it'd fix anything. "You're cold. You're heartless." "Yeah," I nodded. "To people who hand out my keys like Halloween candy." "Absolutely." That's when she snapped. Her eyes went wild, she stormed past me into the living room, knocked over a chair, grabbed a potted plant by the window, and hurled it against the wall. Ceramic and dirt exploded. Then another, and another, like a toddler tantrum, except this toddler was 28, destroying my stuff. "Are you insane?" I barked, stepping back. She was screaming, half words, half noise, stomping like she wanted to erase me one plant at a time. Neighbors peeked into the hall. Tom yelled, "I'm calling the cops if you don't stop." I pulled out my phone, calm. "Yeah, I'd like to report property damage in progress. Ex-girlfriend going berserk. Apartment 302. Thanks." When she heard, she froze for half a second, then shrieked louder. "You're seriously calling the cops on me?" "Of course," I said flatly. "You and Fred can be partners in crime." Literally. That broke her. She went red, stomped to the door, slammed it hard enough to rattle the frame. 10 minutes later, 2 officers arrived, took statements, logged the damage. I showed the ring footage of her hallway meltdown. They shook their heads. That was the last time Carly showed up in person. The cops took pictures of the broken pots, added it to her file. A week later, she was hit with a misdemeanor charge for property damage, nothing heavy, but enough to put her name on paperwork she couldn't dodge. Her friends found out, and from what Mike said, they were done covering for her. Even her mom told her, "You need help, not excuses." Fred couldn't show up, restraining order kept him away. I got updates from Mike. Fred was stuck doing community service, probation officer on his case, old buddies ditching him over his drama. He'd burned every safety net. Here's the kicker, Carly and Fred got back together. Mike told me, "Yeah, they're a thing again." I laughed, then realized it made sense. They deserved each other, 2 chaos addicts tangled in their own dysfunction, feeding off each other's mess. Perfect match. My life got better, quieter, stronger. I started dating again after a few months, sharper about what I wanted, no Fred situations, no family excuses, no drama addicts. That's when I met Rachel, a graphic designer. On date 2, we had a non-negotiables talk, 10 minutes, no drama, no debate. Adults can do that. Rachel wasn't flashy, didn't have Carly's wild energy. She had something better, stability. She respected my space, asked before bringing people over, had no exes like family lurking. She worked hard, had her own life, her own goals. The crazy part, which felt revolutionary after Carly, first time she came over, she paused at the door. "You mind if I bring a friend next week?" "Totally your call," I said, laughing, not because it was funny, but because it hit me how rare respect was. Carly handed out keys behind my back, Rachel asked permission for a guest. Night and day. Our relationship wasn't fireworks or drama, it was calm, respect, peace. Peace after Carly felt like luxury. Late at night, I'd sit on my couch, Coke in hand, flipping channels, remembering Fred's smirk months ago, acting like he owned my space. I'd smile, not missing it, but realizing how far I'd come. Fred thought history gave him permanent access to Carly's life, and by extension, mine. Carly thought love meant letting her ex invade my home and disrespect me. They were both wrong. Love without respect is nothing. History without boundaries is poison. I chose boundaries, and it saved me. Now, when someone like Mike, still in touch with Carly's circle, asks, "You ever think about giving her another shot?" I just laugh. Why would I downgrade? From peace to chaos, respect to betrayal, quiet mornings to cops at my door because someone can't control their temper? No thanks. The best part, knowing Carly and Fred are out there, probably fighting, dragging each other through the same circus they tried to pull me into. Let them. They belong in that mess. I've got my life, my space, a girlfriend who doesn't treat boundaries like suggestions. The thing I realized most, the best revenge isn't shouting, fighting, or trying to win. It's closing the door, refusing the circus, living in peace while they burn their own.